Happy Thursday. Okay, so today we are going to go over the stress response and cravings. Okay, this will be a two-part system because it has to be, because we're going to dive deep in this. All right, because there's a lot to it, and I want you guys to thoroughly understand the whys. All right, and what this is geared for is really to understand like why cravings, how they exist, what's causing them. Because if you don't know the cause, you're not going to be able to fight it. Right, so that's what this is all about. So this is going to be geared for that person that, is really, gets home from work or has a stressful day, has, a lot going on in their life, and they find themselves at the fridge just craving carbohydrates, okay? Craving, processed carbs, whether it's on the salt side or on the sugar side, okay? So that's who this is geared for. And it's geared for those people that say, hey, even if I eat like vegetables or sometimes even fruits or things like that, I still don't feel like I'm complete, right, in a way. And then I'll top it off with a processed carb, whether it's salt or sugar, right? And they're like, I don't know what that problem is. I just find myself, I don't feel like I'm satiated, or I just don't feel well until I have that. Okay, so that's what this topic is about. To get an understanding of like how stress is tied into that and what's happening on the biochemistry side, so that we can set you up for success. Okay, so let's talk stress quick. So when you look at the picture, on that I just put on this video up here, how stress works is the hypothalamus is a little part of the brain, okay, little gland in the brain that really monitors stress, okay, whether it's how you perceive it, right? So if your brain is like, oh gosh, I'm nervous about swimming or whatever it might be, hypothalamus has a perception there, and it's going to create a chemical response, okay. Now that hypothalamus also is a signaling stressors via like climate, right? So environment. So it's really warm in Iowa right now. So that is going to be a perceived stressor on the body that could elicit this cascade, or will elicit this cascade, because it's the same system. Okay. The same system is also signaled via the hypothalamus, via other hormones in the body on the nutritional side. Okay. So all those things, stimuli, are going to be sent to the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is going to start leading this this pathway. Hypothalamus then releases a little, to the pituitary, and then pituitary releases like what we call ACTH. ACTH is going to be a hormone signaling molecule that's going to signal the adrenal glands to release then cortisol, okay, or adrenaline and cortisol. So that's how that cascade works. Now, once the adrenals get it, they're going to kick out, like I said, adrenaline and cortisol. So what does that mean? So you got a perceived stressor. This hormone, cortisol hormones released. Couple things happen there. Okay, increased heart rate. So heart starts to beat faster. You'll really notice that when you're in a very scary situation where there's more perceived stress, heart beats even faster. Okay, you can even sometimes get palpitations, flutters, things like that. So heart rate speeds up. Also, people, you can kind of go back, trace it back to get an understanding of like, why is my heart fluttering? Or, man, do I even have stress? Well, yeah, if you go for a light walk and your heart's beating at 110, 115 beats per minute, or faster, you know that there's stressor on the body somewhere, okay, and it's deeper, and we just got to figure that out. So heart rate increases, blood pressure increases, right? So that's when people have high blood pressure. A lot of times, just because that heart is those veins and arteries, a lot of times can constrict because it's trying to send blood to the big muscles, and organs that are needed to then go through fight or flight. Okay. This is a big one that we see in weight management. When you look at the picture, is decreased digestive system activity. Okay. So peristalsis slows, because if you're being chased by a tiger, your body's not going to say, hey, let's stop and poop, right? It's going to be like, no, let's run, let's get up this tree, and then let's rest. So a lot of digestion issues happen, okay, in a adrenal based individual. So digestion slows, people don't poop. If they do poop, it's not good, and it creates a lot of gut problems on the backside, which is a massive problem with mood, metabolism, and immune system. Okay, so very big issue that we've got to identify and fix. All right. And then Lungs will dilate. Okay, so a lot of times on blood draws, when we get blood draws in on patients that are really like anxious or deal with anxiety, they have a high CO2 count, right? Because they're just not getting enough oxygen, they're short breathing. And that lack of oxygen and the higher CO2 can create little spells of like dizziness. Like they just have a tendency to be like, man, doc, I get dizzy, or I find myself in places where I just feel kind of like, a little out of it. That's why. Okay. And then the last one, this is how it's going to tie into cravings on our next video, part 2, is liver. Okay, so liver will convert glycogen, which is stored glucose. Okay, so your liver says, hey, I've got some stored glucose here, I'm going to go ahead and kick it out, right? So it kicks glucose out to say, hey, we got a tiger here, we got to run, and we got to run as fast as we can to get up the tree to get away from it. Okay, so that's what happens. Or muscles will release it. Okay, but mostly first line defense can be more on the liver side. So that is the cascade. That's what happens with any kind of perceived stress. Via all your little receptors, your eyes, your nose, your ears, all that turns it into chemicals, impulses, and then boom, we got this cascade that then happens in the body. Okay, so that is stress, and like I said, we're gonna follow that liver's job into the next Thirsty Thursday to get an understanding of why are you then stuck in front of the refrigerator wanting that carbohydrate, wanting that French fry or what chips or on the sugar side. Okay, so that is the next one. It's a little teaser. You guys are gonna be so anxious, ready for that next day. No, hopefully you are. Hopefully you're enjoying this. You're learning something. So stay tuned, and we'll give you the why next video. So be great, decrease your stress, and we'll talk about that on another video.